pillow ripped open, foam scattered across the floor, your shoe in pieces, and your dog sitting nearby, looking strangely
Oh
proud
my
of the
God.
destruction. You might have only stepped out of the house for a few minutes, maybe to run a quick errand, maybe just long enough to grab something from the store. But somehow, in that short amount of time, your dog managed to turn the room into a disaster zone. Most people look at the mess, look at the dog, and come to one simple conclusion. My dog did this to be naughty. But here's the strange part. Dogs rarely tear things apart for the reason most people think. Most of the time, they're not trying to misbehave at all. They're simply following instincts that made perfect sense long before dogs ever lived in our homes. And once you understand those instincts, this messy behavior starts to look very different.
First, it helps to understand how dogs explore the world. Humans investigate things with their hands. We touch objects, we open boxes, we take things apart to see what's inside. Dogs can't do that. They don't have hands. So instead, they use the next best tool they have, their mouth. To a dog, tearing something open can feel a lot like investigating it. Imagine a cardboard delivery box sitting on the floor. Your dog walks over, sniffs the corner, nudges it once, then slowly starts pulling at the edge with their teeth. The cardboard bends. It makes a tearing sound. Suddenly, a piece breaks loose. From that moment on, the box has become incredibly interesting.
Because something happened. The object responded. And now your dog wants to see what happens next. But curiosity is only part of the story. Because dogs didn't invent this behavior. They inherited it. Long before dogs were pets, their ancestors survived by hunting. And when wild canines caught prey, they didn't simply carry it around. They tore it open. That was the fastest way to reach the most nutritious parts of the animal. So the act of grabbing, pulling, and shredding became deeply wired into their instincts. Even today, you can sometimes see small pieces of that instinct appear during play. Think about what happens when a dog grabs a stuffed toy. They don't just chew it, they shake it, hard, back and forth. Their whole body moves with the motion. This shaking behavior is actually very similar to how wild canines subdue prey. So when your dog eventually rips open that toy and stuffing spills out onto the floor, what you're seeing isn't random destruction. It's a tiny glimpse of ancient hunting behavior, playing out in a modern living room. There's also something interesting about the types of objects dogs choose to destroy. If you pay attention, dogs rarely tear apart completely random items. They often prefer objects that feel satisfying in their mouth. Soft things, like pillows, stuffed toys, or laundry. Here's a simple example. A dog bites into a stuffed toy. At first, nothing happens. Then, suddenly, the fabric tears, and white stuffing begins to spill out. The dog pauses for a moment, then pulls more out, and more. For many dogs, that moment is incredibly stimulating because something hidden inside the object has finally appeared. It's a bit like opening a mystery package, and once a dog experiences that discovery, they often want to repeat it again. But instinct and curiosity aren't the only reasons dogs tear things apart. There's another factor that's incredibly common: energy. Dogs were designed to move, to chase, to dig, to work. When that natural energy has nowhere to go, it doesn't just disappear. It looks for an outlet. And tearing objects apart can provide exactly that. It uses the jaw, the neck, the front paws. It requires focus and effort. In other words, it's surprisingly physical. For a bored or understimulated dog, shredding a pillow might actually feel like an exciting activity, especially if the object makes interesting sounds as it breaks, which explains why certain items become favorites. Paper bags, cardboard boxes, stuffed toys, anything that creates a satisfying ripping sound. And then there's boredom. Imagine spending most of the day inside a quiet house. No new smells, no movement, no interesting events happening for hours. For an intelligent animal like a dog, that environment can feel incredibly dull. So when something new appears, a shoe, a pillow, a package left on the table, it suddenly becomes the most interesting thing available. Not because your dog hates your belongings, but because your belongings are the only puzzle in the room. And once a dog learns that tearing something open leads to excitement, they may repeat the behavior again and again, because from their perspective, it works. But here's the surprising part. Most dogs aren't trying to destroy things. They're trying to do something much simpler: explore. release energy, or satisfy instincts that existed long before they lived in our homes. Which means when your dog sits proudly beside a pile of shredded fluff, they probably don't see a crime scene. They see a successful investigation, and maybe one of the most exciting moments of their day. So the next time you walk into a room full of stuffing and torn fabric, your dog might not be asking for forgiveness. They might simply be thinking, "That was fascinating. I wonder what's inside the next one."